Most people die of thirst while sitting right on top of the solution. They think they need a miracle, but all they really need is a pile of rocks. This is the story of the crow in the pitcher and why your long dry is actually your greatest opportunity. The world doesn't owe you a drink of water. It's a hard truth. One that most of us spend our lives trying to ignore. We feel entitled to the rain because we've endured the heat. But nature doesn't work on a system of credits. The crow understood this. He sat on a blackened branch of an oak tree that had long ago given up the ghost. His feathers were dusty. His throat felt like it was lined with sand. Around him, the forest was in a panic. The songbirds were exhausting their last reserves of energy, fluttering aimlessly, crying out to a sky that remained a stubborn, taunting blue. But the crow was a stoic. He didn't scream at the sun. He didn't waste his breath cursing the drought. He knew that the heat was an external force, something outside his control. And if it was outside his control, it was not worth his suffering. He closed his eyes. He lowered his heart rate. He waited for a breeze, not because he was lucky, but because he was observant. He was saving the only thing he had left, his will to act when the moment finally arrived. He found it in the ruins of a garden, a pitcher, thick-walled, heavy, and ancient. He landed on the rim. The ceramic was rough, still radiating the day's fire. He peered inside. And there, at the very bottom, was a shimmering circle of life. Water. But the neck was long, narrow, a masterwork of pottery designed to keep water in and the world out. He reached down, stretching his neck until his muscles burned. He could smell the moisture. He could almost feel the cool ghost of it on his beak. But he couldn't touch it. Most of us have stood at that rim. You see the promotion. You see the relationship. You see the version of yourself you want to be. It's right there. You can see it, but you can't reach it. What do? We get frustrated. We try to tip the pitcher over, but it's too heavy for us to move. We try to break it, but we only hurt ourselves. We blame the person who left the pitcher half empty. The crow didn't do any of that. He sat back. He looked at the pitcher, not as a tragedy, but as a puzzle. He didn't ask, why is this happening to me? He asked, what does this situation require of me? The crow hopped to the ground. He picked up a single jagged pebble. The water didn't move. If you were standing there, you would have told him he was a fool. You would have said, "Crow, you're dying of thirst and you're playing with rocks. Go find a river." But the crow knew there were no rivers. He knew that hope is not a strategy, but math is. Nature has laws. If a stone occupies a space, the water cannot. He flew down, picked up another. The sound changed. The hollow ring of the empty jar became the heavy, wet thud of a rising tide. This is the part of the story no one wants to hear. The middle ground, the 2 hours of silence, the aching wings, the repetitive, boring, soul-crushing work of moving one small stone at a time. We want the miracle. We want the lightning bolt. But the crow knows the truth. The big win is just 1,000 tiny, boring wins stacked on top of each other. He wasn't focused on the water level. He was only focused on the next stone. Eventually, the water kissed the rim. He didn't celebrate. He didn't brag to the songbirds who had since fallen silent. He simply drank. It was the best water he had ever tasted, not because it was cold, but because it was earned. He had transformed a desperate situation into a mechanical certainty. The next time you feel like the world is keeping what you need just out of reach, remember the pitcher. Don't curse the depth. Don't wait for the rain. Just find your first pebble. Control your breath. Control your hands. Let the math of persistence do the rest.